Today on the MWHS Wildcat News. Educators Rising recently held their Infant Day for students to interact with mothers and their children. Puerto Rican singer Edgar Rene performed a concert in the auditorium in front of a packed crowd. We talked to sophomore Adam Straub about his trip around 48 continental states with his father. In honor of Veterans Day, veterans around the school talked to us about their experiences while serving. Finally, we recap last week's football game against Elkhorn South. This and more on the MWHS Wildcat News.
Welcome back to the MWHS Wildcat News. Today is November 15th, and I'm Caitlin Willard.
And I'm Edison Geiler. Our first story comes from Educators Rising Annual Infant Day, which took place on November 1st. Students were able to interact with mothers and their children to find out more about the parenting process.
News Director Olivia Oath and online editor Jasmine Padilla bring you the story.
On Friday, November 1st, Educators Rising had their annual Infant Day. This gave students the opportunity to interact with mothers and their children.
The students are currently covering infant development, and with that, getting to ask parents questions, specific questions about various topics relating to how infants are developing, gives them the chance to just kind of reinforce that learning that they're doing in the book.
To prepare for this event, students went through their child development unit to get a better understanding of the information demonstrated in the infants.
Okay, to prepare, we learned about their reactions to things and then their development and growth. It was like a 5-month-old, so we learned about their hands and then their suck reflection.
Throughout the class period, the parents were able to show the growth of their children to exemplify the proper development through the first year of life.
The physical part of it, that cephalocaudal development from head to toe and proximal distal development from center out, various tons of different things, comforting an infant, knowing an infant's needs.
This experience introduced a real-world application of their knowledge to further themselves in the academy with an applicable experience.
In Infant Day, I learned the development of a newborn throughout the different months and their reflexes and what their progress and growth should be versus what it is.
With the success over the years with this event, the Education Academy will continue to bring in families to continue the prosperity of useful out-of-book experiences.
I think they're always successful. The kids obviously get a break from the traditional, teaching and talking and working out of the textbook or watching videos, things like that. So it's always a good idea to have that real-life application to it.
This has been Olivia Oath and Jasmine Padilla for the MWHS Wildcat News.
Monday last week saw Puerto Rican singer Edgar Rene put on a show in the packed auditorium. Spanish classes brought their students to experience the culture in a non-traditional setting.
Online editor Natalie Eljamal and assistant sports director Miguel Paredes report on the event.
On Monday, November 4th, Millard West hosted a Spanish concert featuring Edgar Rene, a Puerto Rican singer who tours around America. Schools from all over the area attended the show.
They were amazing. They're amazing. This is one of my best concerts that I have ever had in the whole tour, and all the kids are like crazy and amazing.
Rene has been in the music industry for a while now, and touring and performing for kids is still his favorite part.
I've been for 22 years right now, the artist career. So I have right now 7 productions doing and a lot of companions with another musicians friends.
Spanish teacher Jamie Bocott helped coordinate the concert in an effort to introduce students to another culture.
This was one of the best years for the concert. The energy in there was fantastic. The kids brought this year, and afterwards Edgar and Justo both said this is one of the best shows they've ever been a part of, and they've been doing this for years, and Edgar was just feeding off all their energy, and he said this is one of the few concerts he didn't want it to end.
While this isn't his first concert, Rene agrees that this is the most energetic show he's ever performed at.
It's superior of what I'm thinking and before the show. It's the best experience that I ever had here in Nebraska.
Students also enjoyed the concert and had the opportunity to go on stage and sing and dance.
My overall thoughts on the Spanish concert is that it's really fun, and I love when we get to put on the glow sticks and dance around, and it's just a break from everyday school.
Este concierto era una experiencia inolvidable para René y para los estudiantes. Esto ha sido Nado Diosmo y Miguel Paredes Reyes con el MWHS Wildcat News.
Some of you may remember a special send-off we had for one of our students last year. Now sophomore Adam Straub and his father, Mike Straub, drove off from the school in a blue Corvette in front of hundreds of students, beginning their journey of visiting all 48 continental states.
Edison and I talked to them about this life-changing trip.
Last May, Millard West held a special send-off for one of our students. Then freshman Adam Straub began the trip of a lifetime, with him and his father, Mike Straub, journeying through all 48 continental states over the summer in a blue Corvette.
The send-off, for the trip was just incredible. Dr. Tiemann had organized a group of students that came out and lined the sidewalks as Adam was leaving. So it was his last day of school. He came out and gave his mama a hug and jumped in the Corvette, and we headed off.
Phenomenal excitement, I would say. I mean, in the beginning, I was happy about because of the moment I was this close, to having friends.
Although the trip had originally began as a simple father-son bonding, the Autism Action Partnership Foundation reached out to Mike in order to fundraise money.
Autism Action Partnership was an organization that had helped Adam all the way from elementary school. Kind of was a good modeling, a way for Adam to learn and understand how other students behave, and it really helped him form a network of friends.
This was a father-son experience, and more importantly, a family tradition. Mike had taken his son Eric Straub on a trip to Alaska when he was only 9 years old, and now it was Adam's turn to have his own journey with his father.
This was Adam's idea to do all 48 states, and so it was a lot of fun planning the trip out, getting it ready, and having Adam be kind of enthusiastic about the trip.
Why not was the ultimate question when deciding what trip he wanted to go on with his father.
Well, it was first Hawaii, and then just 48 states, because why not?
One of the things that I'd done with Eric is, with all of the trips, we were able to get a collage of the 49 states, including Alaska. And so that's a picture that's hanging on the wall. Adam was like, well, let's get that collage put together, but let's just do it in one trip.
Throughout the 19 days, the two not only bonded, but also had many unique experiences.
Definitely the beaches there.
The main beach was nice. We didn't get in the water as much, but it was a public beach that allowed dogs. And so we were able to walk up and down the beach, and all these dogs are running around, and Adam really liked that. We allowed time in both Florida and Maine. We were able to get some nice evening walks in Florida, we were able to jump in the ocean and play on the beach and do some of those activities.
This journey was life-changing for both, not only because of the opportunity of working with a foundation that has done so much for Adam, but for them, it more importantly strengthened the bond of a father and son.
Like Justin calls on the phone saying that what you done already is a big success for us.
Our goal was to raise $48,000, and we raised almost $23,000 is what we ended up raising. And so, from that end, we didn't quite hit our goal, but Justin, the executive at Autism Action Partnership, he said, it's way beyond the money. It's all of the community support and outreach that's happened.
Edison Geiler and Caitlin Willard, signing off.
Out of the 5 veterans at Millard West, they cover every branch of military excluding Coast Guard.
In honor of Veterans Day, cartoonist Mackenzie Gonzalez and chief photographer Tenley Wright talked to them about some of their memories and experiences while they served.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On Monday, November 11th, Veterans Day was celebrated across the states in honor of all former United States service members. Here at Millard West, we are honored to have 5 veterans on the staff. These veterans are SRO Michael Bratcher with the United States Air Force, Security Donald Hike with the United States Marine Corps, Security Richard Mundy with the United States Army, Engineer John Fortner with the United States Army, and Custodian William Taylor with the United States Navy.
I was in the Air Force, the United States Marine Corps, the Army. To serve my country, just do what I needed to do to help. 79 was when I enlisted, and that was when the Iran hostage crisis was going on. So myself and a friend both decided to join the military.
Well, I thought there would be more opportunities because it's a larger branch. You got more bases around the world and country.
Weapons repair.
Infantry. Well, the infantry were mostly light infantry. They call us the queen of battles. Artillery is the king of battles. But basically, we do raids, assaults, and so on.
See, back in 1979, drill instructors would still put their hands on you, which I know they won't do now. So it was quite a bit different, I believe, back then than it is now. So it was basically a game. They weren't really going to hurt you. It was just for training.
Fort Bragg, North Carolina in the States, Fort Drum, New York, Fort Riley, Kansas, South Korea, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Honduras. Well, Afghanistan and Iraq was just mostly you're out in the field. Life is a little harder. South Korea was basically the same as being in the States, living conditions, but it was a little harder training-wise over there.
On behalf of the MWHS Wildcat News, we would like to thank all veterans for their service.
The football team edged out a victory over Elkhorn South 35-14 last Friday.
Before they continue their playoff journey against Bellevue West tonight, Assistant Sports Director Miguel Paredes takes a look at the details of last week's matchup.
On Friday, November 8th, the Millard West Wildcats faced off against the number 9 Elkhorn South Storm in the Class A quarterfinals of the 2019 football playoffs. I had the privilege of talking to some players and coaches about their thoughts on the game and the upcoming matchup against number 4 ranked Bellevue West.
To start with, we kind of started off slow, but then once we got going, we really clicked, and just both sides of the ball were playing very well.
I think we played well, but there's always room to improve for the next week.
I know we kind of have to come in and probably play our best game of the season. I know we're coming in with a lot of confidence. They're a good team, but we've shown that we're also a good team throughout the whole season, and I think we'll be good.
Everyone that was playing knew that this could have been the last game we all played together, so we knew that we had to come in and just play with everything on the line.
Going into the half, the game was tied due to the Wildcats giving up a 14-point lead as they prepped for the second half of football.
Well, at that point we know we had been there before, tied up going into the second half of the football game, and we knew that we had to come out fast, and so far in all the games before we've done that.
We knew we had stuff going, and there was just I mean, they had a long run, which was just kind of a broken play. One guy was not in position, and then the interception kind of led to the second touchdown. So I think we realized that we had stuff going for us, and we were able to just keep driving down the field and just kind of gave them a little bit of momentum, but we knew that we had stuff going.
The defense showed up in this game, with multiple interceptions and leaving Elkhorn South scoreless in the second half.
It just felt really good to get going early on in the game, really set the tone for the rest of the game. Helped out.
Well, having that much little time on the clock and then really just starting to throw the ball around, I think that really switched the momentum, because it kind of was like putting the nail in the coffin and stopped them from giving another chance to score.
Make sure to catch the Wildcats in action Friday night, November 15th. I hope to see you there, Wildcats.
Thanks for watching this week's edition of the MWHS Wildcat News. For updates on all of our content, follow our Twitter at MWHS Catalyst and our Instagram at MWHS.Catalyst. For all of our stories, you can visit www.millardwestcatalyst.com.
Be sure to tune in next week for the latest edition of the MWHS Wildcat News.
See you later, Wildcats!